Welcome back, everybody, and we are here for the hype match. And in the most unexpected scenario, first and second both dropped their games in round 8. Bristol Whipped is no longer undefeated, now 7-1. Cabbage Family now 6-2, Callum.
Yeah, Grey Warwick managed to catch the better side of Bristol in their game, and Cabbage did lose their game to Robin's Cringers, so both extremely unexpected results. We were waiting for this the heavyweight moment to see if Bristol would drop a game, but it's already happened now, and really just looking at it, it's going to be a matter of trying to see how and really why they seem to have really been taken off swing by the changes to this current patch.
Yeah, and very interesting to see. We do have a nice little insight into how the last round went. We can see that there was a ban away from the Karma. I was going to call my shot that Karma was going to have high priority for Cabbage Family in this game. Robin's Cringer seemed to agree with me.
Yeah, certainly so. That buff and the sheer flexibility of the pick clearly taken off the table early, and as we can see here, it looks like just from what is visible, Bio Chipmunk appears to have absolutely popped off on the Tristana. Nothing too obscene in the draft, but double scaling carries for QR and Gregors, the Corki and the Sivir not getting too far ahead in their game does mean that that is going to have just been them almost getting blitzed themselves, which is really not what we expected from Cabbage.
Absolutely not. Their wins are certainly some of the fastest, most controlled victories we tend to see. We were going to go into some stats, but obviously they are from last week onwards. Let's look at the game ahead rather than the games just lost, because there is no reason to lose any hype for either of these teams. So similar in so many regards.
Certainly so. Both of them having almost identical kill participations across the board. Within, I believe it's 0.01 deaths per minute for the pair of them, and almost, I think it was 0.02 kills per minute. It's one way around or the other, but almost identical in every kill-related stat, despite them having 5 minutes difference in how quickly they would finish out games. Something that I want to talk about is, I was expecting Cabbage, who have been going for this almost blitz you out of the water early game style, to see if they would challenge themselves to try and have a bit more reservations, opt for scaling, and maybe try and fight Bristol in the mid game and avoid just losing if they opt in for an early game comp and don't get ahead.
Absolutely, and a great pick to think of is that QR is a very, very prolific Kassadin player. Great pick for a game that goes late. He can just put the whole team on his back if he's allowed to hit level 16.
But don't think that's for free, because both mid laners heading into this game have Kassadin as their pocket pick. So I think it's something that very likely will come out in that second rotation of bans. As far as it goes, some key picks to look at is against Bristol. Udyr has been banned every single game. It has just not been allowed through. And Rel has been banned most games against Nibble, and every time it hasn't been, they have beaten it in lane. Either on Seraphine or Alistair, they know what they're doing in this matchup.
Yeah, it's very much going to be a case of respect bang the Rel, or we are going to run it into you.
And there is your Karma pick taken off the table. Big respect coming out. Gadunica on the VA styled on in the first week. Another one being Aatrox that Ethan absolutely popped off with. And considering that Black Cleaver and Stridebreaker are very good right now, Ethan is a very happy chappy with all of their champions.
Absolutely is, yeah. That Rel will be taken away by the Cabbage Family. A Sivir ban coming out from Bristol Whip. That's somewhat indicative. We may see perhaps a priority towards someone very heavy CC, perhaps the Skarner. Sivir very good into that pick.
And there's the Udyr not wanting to put Gadunica on it and Porp not wanting to take it themselves. That to me indicates that it is going to be some kind of other power pick, maybe in the ADC role. We'll have to see what they opt for. This is really just where both team places priority. Somehow don't think that's going to be Rhythm, but you know what? We'll just wait until a lock-in happens. I don't want to get taken completely off guard. Yeah.
So we could also see increased priority on Lilia. Completely untouched this patch, still extremely strong, very, very good for setting up those later game teamfights. There is the Skarner actually going to be taken away, despite Bristol Whipped being the ones banning away the Sivir.
Yeah, pretty interesting one. And we have seen that Thresh is a champion that could come up in this draft. Nibble themselves have been grinding this pick recent times. We'll have to see if that means it comes to fruition. And there we go. It's being hovered currently.
Just
and
a hover.
Just a hover. They made okay. Well, thanks, guys. Don't make me look stupid or anything. But point being, with the rel off the table, champions like Alistair, Nautilus, these are the next best options you want to slap next to Kai'Sa. So we'll have to see if they save support for second rotation or if they opt to take it here.
No, there you go. Vindication! As they lock in the Thresh. Thresh Kai'Sa bot lane for Bristol Whips now. There, we could see Cabbage Family pick a bot lane of their own, trying to conceal their solo laners for second rotation.
And it's very important that you get rid of this Thresh, because the Thresh-Skarner combo of getting impaled into Lantern is certain death for any champion who does not already have a QSS. And here is a champion that I think you'd like to talk about of Gregors' Ashe.
Yeah, Gregors loves picking this champion. I like to make the analogy that Gregors is the Reckless of our league. Very reliable, relatively low deaths, is very good at these utility picks, will always have an impact in the later game, regardless of what pick you put it on, regardless of what situation you put him in.
And against this Thresh Kai'Sa lane, it is just going to outrange them with the Ws. Constant poke coming out from this Ashe can be very oppressive to lane against. And just with that alone, they decide to not take a support and just get the blind Camille that will not be punished, as Olaf is the last lock-in for Bristol Whip.
Well, that's obviously a really, really great pickup when the opposing team is showing Skarner Ashe. Ragnarok cares not for your flippantry.
Yeah, pretty nice lock-in here, as we just see some more of Mary come out. Pretty odd that they're banning out the Alistair, at least, just because that is something that Thresh can reactively flay. Still a very powerful pick in the meta, so you can see why they don't want to enable the full dive of the enemy team. Critically, Galio still open, that combo with Camille, very good. Good follow-up for the Skarner as well, as we see the Jax locked in for Effin. Oh boy.
He did receive a minor buff on 1150. Well, it looks like a minor buff. Increased AD per level, but scaling up, and Jax, that is already a really strong scaling pick. This means he's got a lot of extra AD in the late game.
Yeah, and if we take a look into this one, that is their counter pick opt-in against the Camille. Going to be very big in this matchup. The ability to negate autos, pretty strong in a side lane, as we see a very defensive Brom actually picked up for mostly Grumpy in this bot lane.
Full Freljord is in effect. Last pick, we are looking for a mid laner, and we didn't mention it, but you did call it, Callum. Kassadin is gone.
Yeah, that is a very important champion to be off the table if you're aiming to take it a bit more scaling, as it looks like QR is just going to take the blind Orianna matchup. Very safe mid lane pick, yeah. Just very standard. Champions like the Rise have made their way through. Victor is another control mage that can get push in on this champion. Tristana also still on the table if they were to take it mid for trying to go for kill pressure. It's really just any champion that they fancy right now for Chentang.
So I don't like the Tristana just because of the damage spread for the team. The Victor is much more preferential in my eyes, and it is what they will end up locking in. So across the board, we see a lot of engage potential coming out from the Cabbage Family squad. Hextech Ultimatum, Fracture, Impale rather. Sorry, Fracture is Skarner's E, not his ultimate. Impale, the Command Shockwave, the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, and the Brommelt as well.
And for Bristol Whip, we see that they do have the Olaf, who can negate that Skarner ultimate, but notably no full tank across the rest of the members. So, in most situations, it's going to be pretty hard for any of them to survive, getting impaled by the Skarner and brought back into the enemy team. And considering they have the Camille Hextech Ultimatum on top of that, a lot of powerful pick tools across this team. Something that Cabbage Family want to be looking for. The second the clock hits level 6 on their levels, they're going to be going in constantly, looking for something, see if they can get that scrappy style ahead, and challenge Bristol in the early game.
I just had a thought, Callum. Against a team like this, is paying your taxes even enough?
Frankly, it's going to be pretty tricky.
So much hard CC.
Yeah, you have
so many ways of just locking you down.
Well. Shockwave on top of that. It's not the same as the Galio landing, but is almost as effective and combos extremely nicely with the Skarner because they can just drag them into the Shockwave, frankly. Other picks, like they do have the Brom for disengage, very nice into most of the enemy champions. Not really so much for the blocking of the skill shots with the wall, not too much value they're going to find there, but primarily just the zone control this champion can offer, enough auto attacks between the Ashe, Skarner, and the Camille themselves. Does mean that there's a lot of stun threat in these fights, but it's really just going to come down to execution in these first few levels.
Absolutely is, and we have to say that Cabbage Family has picked the easier to execute comp with all of these point and click hard CC, or rather point and click ultimates from both Camille and Skarner. Shockwave obviously has great range, and if the Enchanted Crystal Arrow is set up for, then it's basically a given. Meanwhile, we see Jax, very much a split push champion, very much wants to be on the side lane taking 1v1s. We could see a 1-4, maybe a 1-3-1, but Victor generally likes to be with the rest of his team.
Certainly, and both teams seem pretty happy with what they got because Bristol Whipped usually goes to a top-side playstyle. Gadunica almost only ganks top lane to get Effen ahead. And they have the counter pick in this matchup that they should be very comfortable on. They are a Jax player for multiple seasons, so Effen really is going to be the key member for Bristol to watch. They almost just seem to be leaving Benuxus and Nibble alone as their weak side team, no matter what they are actually on. They could be on the most powerful bot lane imaginable and they would still be left alone in this consideration. They almost just have Chentang, the team captain, sit there, get priority in mid, and do what they can on their own. But it's just the duo top that you need to be paying attention to in these early few levels.
It's absolutely going to come down to whether Porp and the other members of Cabbage Family can suppress this early aggression on the top side. If Effen gets ahead, then the game can absolutely be 1v9'd off his back alone.
Certainly so, but we did see last week in Bristol's game against DMU some uncharacteristic mistakes from Effen and Gadunica nearly in the game. It put the brakes on the tempo they built up. And with regards to playstyle, it's very suitable for what we see is Bristol Whipped want to get an early lead, then they want to take that lead to the top side, get themselves a Rift Herald, collapse that into a tower, build up an essential 2 to 3k gold lead, and then just hold. They hold steadfast and wait for you to int. They will just get a basic line of vision, let you run in, get picks, they have the tools for it here, they have the Kai'Sa, they have the Thresh Hook, they have these champions that can very much so punish somebody that steps too far up to get wards, and then they will just use that to end the game in one fell swoop.
And conversely, we see so much priority from Cabbage Family looking towards the first Drakes to try and get stacking up towards the Elder, or towards the Soul rather, as quickly as they possibly can. This composition, while it has a lot of hard CC, doesn't put that much priority to the bot side, so it means that it's very much going to be a gank or a pick that really leads to Cabbage Family trying to go for that objective early on.
Yeah, the Ashe will inherently be able to get just push priority from the AoE they have, and Skarner, similar to Olaf, very, very fast clearer. We actually, we got to see it last game for all intents and purposes, so you can see that both these champions are still very powerful in the meta, and they both just whip through their jungle, and the second it's level 6, Skarner comes online, but Olaf Gadunica on this pick can get a lot done around the level 3 to 4 mark, so let's pay attention to their early pathing to see how they try and snowball Effen.
Well, we saw this exact matchup last game as well. We saw Heavy Dubstep Remix just relentlessly, mercilessly invading onto the Skarner. The 6 was heavily delayed, so we'll have to see how Pop can do, just trying to get up to 6 as quickly as possible so he can start doing impales as and when. Just toss him out there.
Yeah, and we make our way into game for what is still the first and second place match. I do believe that can't have changed, as both these teams were solo first and solo second, as it looks like Cabbage is actually opting for an early invade to try and put Effen in the dust before the game begins.
He actually does spot this one out. I don't know if he's going to be able to get out. Nope, Mostly Grumpy immediately flashes forward. The possible catch. Alvamos does not land the hookshot wall dive, and leveling the E at level 1 means that is a lot of early trade potential being lost from the Camille here.
You say that, but Effen is forced to start the queue on themselves, so actually both of these laners, it's going to be a pretty odd level. Camille with E and Jax with Q, so don't expect much action in the level 1, but we'll have to see as Gadunica right now. They're actually positioning to punish Alphamos and try and chunk them out before they get back to lane. Let's look at this and see if they looks like they did catch it. Yeah, this could be an invade onto blue, though.
Might well be, and as we can see, Alphamos is there just kind of watching. I think a ward has been placed. It will spot out Gadunica and FN as they come in towards this blue. The invade has been spotted out, so this is just going to be an immediate setup of the vertical jungle.
Yeah, but because bot lane is leashing for Cabbage, it means they won't be able to get priority on this first wave if Benuxus and Nibble opt to push. It looks like they are going for that, and that makes it really difficult for Porp now to go and counter invade onto the enemy blue buff. So, what we see here is Gadunica is hard splitting the map. They're just taking all of the camps they can get, knowing Skarner is not allowed to walk into them level 1. And then we'll have to see how Porp decides to do something in these first few levels. Will they go for a really bizarre level 2 or 3 gank onto middle bot? Or will they just try and invade now that they've seen that Gadunica has not left their bot's topside jungle?
Push coming out right now from Benuxus and Nibble. Porp rather, is going to show on towards bot side. Ethan gets level 2 first and is going to trade onto Alphamos. Not very much damage on the Jax right now. Pretty even trade, all things considered. Alphamos still not even forced to burn any of his potions.
But Ethan, I think they pushed that wave just a little bit too quickly, as they aren't going to get a full crash. But watch this bot side right now. Big fight is likely to happen. They're just zoning off as Gadunica is sprinting it through mid to try and contest this.
Porp has smite available, so the blue should just be a free pickup here. It will get picked up. There we go. Gadunica is coming through mid, as you said. Does mean that the Cabbage family are going to have to disengage quickly. The overall advantage in farm will be there for Gadunica, obviously, since there is no topside camps. Flash out from Ethan there as the hook shot gets pulled out from Alphamos. And right now, very chaotic, but no big advantages gained. A couple of summoners burned here, a couple of abilities burned there, but all pretty even as it stands.
Now, something I want to point out is because of how that invade ended up playing out, Porp didn't get a single one of their topside camps. Gadunica took all of them and then got to pivot down to their bot side. So, now this Olaf has the option to full clear through their jungle and try and repeat invade onto the Skarner just as their topside camps respawn. But if they are not able to do that, Skarner will get higher XP camps before Olaf does, and it means that they're going to be able to have more downtime around the level 5 mark, as it looks like this is actually going even more in Porp's favour as they're getting to invade onto Raptors before there's any response from Gadunica.
Gadunica still hasn't picked up his red buff yet. There is a smite available for Porp if he really wants to try and punish that. Alphamos takes a tower hit for his troubles getting off that precision protocol.
And because Ethan was forced to blow the flash in that top lane so early, it means that Alphamos has managed to get full priority, completely negate any hopes Gadunica had to reinvade this reset Wolves, reset Gromp, and it's going to actually swing the XP in the jungle into Porp's favour just ever so barely. Even though they will be down in net camps, they're taking higher level camps, most importantly.
Definitely, yeah. And Alphamos burning a very, very early teleport to get back into lane with the Sheen, denying Ethan from going back, or rather, risking the fact that a plate could be taken in his absence. Gadunica is topside, though. There is an engage onto Alphamos, but is immediately turned back, and is just a bit of a slap fight going back and forth between these top laners. The fact that it was even shows that Ethan knows what he's doing on these early Jax trades.
But they are completely out of corrupting potion stacks now, and Camille can attempt to freeze this with their Skarner in pocket. This is going to be action one way or the other.
The wall dive did not land onto Ethan. Well dodged. I feel like that would have been very much death for him since the flash was not available. Nibble tries to land the hook onto Mostly Grumpy, but it is actually blocked by the Unbreakable, I think.
And as we see once again in this top lane, Gadunica is now hiding. Let them crash this wave, because if Alphamos gets this freeze, Ethan will be forced to TP back, and they did not have eyes on the Skarner anymore. So that could have just been TP back in, die, and as we see,
going very aggressive on the mid lane. Chentang is going to be dropped low. I don't think he's going to need to flash, but he opts to anyways. Not able to hit level 6, and QR will shove this wave in. Looks like Chentang is actually going to try and stay to clear the wave before backing. QR is going to take this opportunity to put a control ward down, just try and get some early vision advantage.
We've had some great Orianna solo laning in mid today, as we see QR does manage to force Chentang, and that makes them pretty dead if Porp even attempts to look at this mid lane on the Skarner, as they'll be able to flash, proc the phase rush with their Nimbus Cloak from smiting, and Chentang is all but dead if they walk even past the midpoint of their lane, and Skarner's in even a screen's worth of range at this rate.
You are just taking it back there. Of course, the teleport is available. Gadunica is going to show his face in the bot side river, but he's actually currently at a numbers disadvantage. However, his bot lane is going to show up. Teleport's coming down. I can't tell what color those all are. There is Chentang. Mostly Grumpy is going to get aggressed onto. He's pretty tanky, though. Obviously, that is a Brom. Undertow is going to land, is not going to get any more coming out of that. The flash was available on the Brom still. Obviously, it was burnt extremely early and has already cooled back down.
So Gregors has to blow heal, but considering the fact that the Olaf was only level 4, the entire team collapses, and while Cabbage are getting the dragon, something I think is equally as important is QR managed to have complete mid control and Chentang missed out on a good amount of CS. While this is obviously big that they won't get to hit item spikes as quickly, it's even worse for Victor because they need CS now for their Hex Core passive to get those upgrades, to get that laser upgrade that gives them priority in this lane. So this means just off of that play and the forcing of the TP, QR is going to have mid priority for an extra minute, 2 minutes just on top of this Victor. So that enables Porp to make even more plays with their ultimate.
Delaying the augmented death rate is so huge in a Victor matchup because it forces him to take so much longer to clear waves, gives you so much more freedom to make potential roams.
And it's almost just a cycle in of itself. Because they can't clear the wave, snowball next. So you're really just suppressing this Victor's effective in every which way. And while Chentang is a massive Victor player in the past, they aren't really getting to do all too much as the Orianna pre you get those upgrades that enable you to contest fights, just has the ability to zone you out of lane, as Nibble actually potentially go get stunned here.
The stun does land, but the Guardian is procced, mostly Grumpy. Not going to be able to all in on that one. Nobody in the bot lane has 6 yet. Not sure how far they are away from them as well. Gregor's just hit 6, but I don't think they're going to pull the trigger on this play. The Ignite's available, but the disengage from a Thresh lane is always pretty strong.
And that initial Ocean Dragon does mean that the Cabbage family are able to defensively play.
He saw Gadunica
really
back on the
nice.
wall just there. Effin is engaged upon. He's going to prop the Grandmaster's might, but is not going to be enough. The flash is available, but QR is here as well. Effin is going to get dunked down. First blood to Alphamos, and that is huge in this top lane matchup.
Really, really nice stuff from Cabbage family right there. Excellent patience from Porp. Seeing Gadunica recall on a ward. This is the problem. If you're a jungler who walks remotely close to a lane without your sweeper up, and this happens, it certainly spells death for your lane. QR was already roaming their way up, but Porp and Alphamos have so much targeted lockdown that you just cannot beat. Effin, put down in the dirt, is going to make this matchup far more favored for Alphamos as a hook comes out, but just a bit of ultimate trading almost.
Yep, trading back and forth. Gregors is going to drop very, very low. The flash forward, the last order comes down. The last tick of the Ignite. Nibble will pick that one up. Porp is here in the bot lane, though. Gadunica is too. Nibble will be traded back. Porp is going to pull Benoxus under the tower, but he is not the one tanking it. The Ragnarok comes out. Here's QR, though. There is the shockwave. There is the kill picked up. Benoxus will go down as well. Double kill for QR and a 4-1 kill advantage to Cabbage family in the early game.
And they are getting off to the snowball they wanted to see. We saw their Gadunica took the tower to try and save their ADC, but in the end it doesn't end up mattering because the double shockwave coming out from QR manages to completely seal the fate of both of them. Oh, Arrow goes barely wide.
Arrow. Cheeky Gregors.
And it does leave Chentang ever so close. I believe they're only like a... because they've got a couple siege minions in pocket. They should be very close to getting that first Hex Core upgrade, as right now we see the bot lane for Cabbage actually rotating to mid. This is going to unlock them priority and give Porp the option to look for this Rift Herald potentially if they decide to keep them here. We'll have to see where the bot lane walks to after this.
Denying Rift Herald is always a good idea. We know how much Bristol Whips love that objective. 90 seconds until the next Drake. Callum, the floor is yours. 90 seconds.
Oh boy.
Go.
Alright, so as we take a look at how both teams want to set up for us, obviously nobody at Mythic spikes yet. Top lane, TP advantage to Alphamos though. They've got the wave frozen at the moment, so it's going to be the decision on them of when they try and shove it. Because we have Gadunica in the top lane to shadow them, we could see that this Camille ends up trying to push the wave and then just gets collapsed on. Even if so, they will have TP available for the Rift, for the Dragon fight even, but it looks like instead it's going to just be Effen and Gadunica running back the special, trying to get this Rift Herald and chuck it down, presumably mid or top, to counter pressure when Cabbage go for that dragon.
Seems to be 40 seconds still on that objective. Pawp spots out Gadunica on the objective. Alphamos is now opting to try and push forwards. Effen has a level disadvantage right now, and Pawp is just there playing to be annoying, really. QR is roaming up. QR is going to deny Chentang from coming in. Dropped incredibly low. Chentang cannot fight this one anymore. It's now a 3v2 with Chentang trying to find an angle. Ooh. Ultimate is going to be popped. Gadunica is just going to get chunked down here. Effen tries to go onto Alphamos. The Hextech Ultimatum goes onto Chentang, but the immediate flash out is forced. The Drake, the Herald even, will be ceded over to Cabbage family. The Drake is just spawning as well. That objective is available. They are opting not to go for it.
And as Camille says, yeah, acting as a denial asset, really. They're trading out the flashes on the lane. That is pretty big for both of them, as the flash from both of their respective E abilities, the Counter-Strike and the Hookshot Wall Dive, is very big, as it makes it such an oppressive engage to go for. But as we see Cabbage just opting for, we're going to take it away, go straight to this dragon. They've captured the Spire, and as we saw there, as soon as Pawp got control of that Spire, this Skarner gets so many additional stats: attack speed, mana regen, movement speed, all so oppressive in this fight. And Gadunica just got kind of gunned down by QR in the river there. There was just the Orianna Ball gets full combo, and then they just ran in and died because there was no better option to go. And on the escape, Flash is traded. Effen was doing the right thing there, but in the end goes massively in the favor of Cabbage. Not exactly a massive gold lead, but the Dragon's very important for Cabbage in this game.
Speaking of Effen, I was about to say about him taking it back here, but it looks like he is going to try and soak the wave that Alphamos pushes in. Obviously, he is absolutely going to be sitting on the gold to finish off that mythic item. The only one in the game right now picked up the Trinity Force for Alphamos' Camille.
And something to note is it has been an essential part of Bristol Whip's plans throughout their games.
Coming in onto top side. QR is way out of position here. He's just going to get knocked down, shut down. The kill will go onto Gadunica. I would have to see that back. Unfortunately, we will have to see it after the game, I guess, from the replay section. What happened? There must have been some form of miscommunication as QR tried to come up the river.
Just looked like Chentang teleported in, herded the sheep into the jungle, and then double melees, very oppressive in closer range like that. Does end up being a misstep, hands over a big amount of gold back to Gadunica, so pulls them into this game while there is a 20 CS gap in Pawp's favor. Still not going to be all too much against this Olaf. They can scrap in fights, but really just a bit of a weird plan right now. They didn't get the Rift Herald for Bristol, and it is an essential part of their plans up till this point. Alphamos is trying, well, they're basically trying to bait them in to a trade, because if he opts for the jump in, Gadunica then gets the follow-up. And look at how greedily Chentang is standing. They're just hugging these minions. Come on, Alphamos, fight, fight!
He's fighting! There's the catch, Gadunica. The hookshot does not land! The Hextech Ultimatum will come out. Pawp is here for the potential defense. Stuns coming through. The Fracture is going to be used on Gadunica. He does not have the Ragnarok available. Pawp does make the play that is needed to save his top laner. Pawp continuing to go forward. Effen tries to flash for the kill. Great shockwave again from QR. Pawp is on a killing spree. 303 on this Skarner. Meanwhile, bot lane's fighting forever. Alphamos teleports back in. Gadunica does have the Ragnarok backup. The trade is not there. Oh, it is actually. Chentang picks that one up, and it is 2v1. Chentang tries to flash out to safety. He's nice and quick, but there is still a Spire available. It will not be enough. Chentang will get taken down. Alphamos picks up that kill. And there is Crowley's Comet. The attempt was there from Gregis to pick that one up. It's going to be traded over anyway. The kill will be picked up. Nibble is sacrificed as Mostly Grumpy gets the dubstep ignite down to finish off that kill.
And that goes hilariously in Cabbage's favor. Excellent outplay. Alphamos misses the initial hookshot to escape. but inadvertently baits the entirety of Bristol to go overly ham there. As we see QR and Porp coming in for the save, does manage to end up picking up a 2-for-3 swing in kills, massively in Cabbage's favor, because meanwhile in the bot lane, as we saw there, mostly Grumpy, does manage to get the bait in, get Nibble down for an extra kill, and as we look at how that develops, it doesn't have too much effect on the immediate objectives. No towers die as of subsequent, but Dragon, minute 30. Cooldowns will be back up for the ultimates, but key, look at the flashes that are down. Nibble will not have their flash from that bot fight. Chentang used their flash to try and escape the top side. This is going to go even more in Cabbage's favor, as they can just straight up run it back. Skarner gets a jump over, gets the impale, gonna pull him back, run it back.
Run it back indeed. 9-3 the current kill advantage. As you said, a minute to Drake. And can I make a point of note? Herald Star hasn't been taken. Are we sure this is a Bristol whipped game?
Yeah, certainly so. With that Herald not knocked down yet, Bristol whipped are pretty much sitting in a weird spot, as they have really just secured it in every game they have won, and they've secured the first one to take down plates. That's not...
steps up on towards the mid lane. Chentang is a nice and juicy target. Going to take a lot of damage, though. The shockwave will be enough. The command protect sets that one up nicely. Chentang, we see, has picked up the Everfrost. It was not enough to keep him alive on this occasion, though.
Yeah, they do end up falling. The Everfrost, pretty nice item overall, good for avoiding these kind of dive champions, but isn't going to do too much when they're already on top of you. Especially Alphamos on this Camille does have a way to innately dodge it in the first place. So, what we see here is because Chentang is dead, no TP up, Cabbage has all but secured this dragon already. We'll have to see if QR is punished, though, for trying to get these mid lane.
Punish is attempted. Nice sidestep away from the Void Seeker. There will be no killer instinct today for Benuxus. And looking across the map, if we get a look at the gold, I'm interested to see how the distribution is. Obviously, right now, the biggest lead, to no one's great surprise. QR absolutely huge on this Orianna. The catch will be there, but it's only onto mostly Grumpy. He's going to be able to jump back. He's going to wait for the ultimate. Porp dropped very low, but he actually has the Gore Drinker. Mostly Grumpy actually picks up Benuxus. I think that was Dragon support more than anything else. Porp is going to be taking a lot of damage, but Efan is on his own off to the side. There is Alphamos with the catch. It's going to be a case of run to the hills. Run for your lives. Never mind, there were no lives left. They're all dead, Callum.
And it goes completely again in Cabbage's favour. I feel like I'm saying this far too often, as they've pretty much got this game in the bag now. It's just a matter of closing it out for Cabbage. They have got the massive lead, 5k gold. They have managed to get Dragon Soul Point, and subsequently off of that, the map is theirs for the taking. There are so many luxury towers available. All of the tier 2s for Bristol and the tier 1 top. When you are this far ahead, you could just play the game slow, collect your farm off cooldown, and threaten these towers that, if the enemy tries to defend, they are all but dead, because you are not safe under a tier 1, arguably even a tier 2 tower against Skarner, Camille, with how well QR is playing with these shockwaves, how nicely Gregors is positioning, and mostly Grumpy with the disgusting zone control on this Brom. Frankly, it's just pretty oppressive to try and recover as Bristol. They really need a misstep from Cabbage.
Yeah, it made even worse by the fact that it's going to be even harder for Whip to pay their taxes in this game. No one has picked up a QSS as of yet, so it is free real estate for Porp. The taxman is in full effect.
Yeah, most certainly will be running away from the taxman this game, and critically for Benuxus, it means they cannot dive in onto anybody that does get picked. If it goes perfectly, you manage to get the counter-strike from Ethan, let's say, into the slow field, into a stun from Chentang. Benuxus can't jump in, because if they ult in, they still get Skarner pulled.
Oh, there's the catch onto QR. Great dodge away from the stun. Efan is not going to win this fight. QR takes him down with robotic efficiency.
And that is just the problem
right now. There's Gadunica, though. Still got a tower available. There isn't. You're not going to be diving a 4-on-1 Orianna.
Yeah, without Ghost, I certainly don't see Gadunica making the attempt, but I don't think they're going to get the choice.
Chem tank, catch onto it. There is the Ragnarok. To try and run, try and fight. There is no space for Gadunica on this bottom lane. He is going to get taken down. Once again, another kill onto QR. Absolutely immense.
Oh, no.
There is the Enchanted Crystal Arrow in the mid lane. Alphamos is going to put A solitary auto attack into the back of Nibble. The engage was not called. Pop is now here. Does get caught. Is going to almost get hooked into the tower. There is the return impale. Alphamos is now dominating 6-0-2 on this Camille. And the game is absolutely the oyster of the Cabbage family. Baron is there for the taking.
Wild range of emotions for Nibble right there. They get hit, manage to survive by flaying Alphamos off of the tower, but then get Skarner to death anyway. So right now this is just a matter of Cabbage zoning off this Baron. Gadunica on their way, but critically, it's Olaf, has Ghost, can't get into this pit. Unless they are, you know, really just walking it down from Cabbage, there should be no attempt at a steal here.
Yeah, there it is. Baron goes down. 21.5 minutes, 18-3, clinical gameplay coming out from the Cabbage family. They seem to have Bristol Whip's number at every single turn in this game.
And that's the thing, we didn't get to see how Bristol Whip lost their last game, but my inference would certainly be because agency was not put on Effan. They are pretty critical when it comes to how they play out the game. It is always, and I mean always, every game it is Gadunica plays the top, gets Effan ahead. Okay, that's step 1. Step 2, get the Rift Herald. Okay. Snowball, step 3. Alright, we're cool. Chill. Yeah, there you go. It's just the step 3 profit at that point. And right now, Bristol Whip got stuck at step 1. And Cabbage, they knew what they had to do at this point. They just put behind the critical member, have this disgusting Camille in the side lane. So much pressure from this champion. I don't think they'll opt for the 1v2, as the Jax is still pretty strong with 2 items in pocket. But, you know, we'll have to see how hyphy Cabbage get.
They are trying to go hard onto Alphamos here. 3 members in the bot side. Chentang coming down as well. Alphamos will spot this one out. The CC is not going to be there. Hookshot wall dive just gets him straight out to safety. A teleport is coming in from QR for safety. Gregors with the ultimate almost manages to get the Enchanted Crystal Arrow down. Alphamos is caught. Alphamos is going to go down here almost certainly. He is surviving for so long though. The shields are there. He survives for so long. 3 members are down. And there's going to be another donation to the bank of Gregors. Chentang falls, 2 members left. Porp is going to try and get in for the engage. Can the impale be landed? It is not even up. Ignore this man. Another fight victory for the Cabbage family, and 24 seconds until the Dragon's Soul is there for the taking as well.
You cannot escape this Scorpion. Porp doing so much in these fights, but really it's just a team game from Cabbage. Forcing out the flash on Chentang, smooth criminal reactions from them to dodge the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but it put them on the wrong side, had to take the Lantern, and then everybody stacked up for QR's Shockwave. They have not had a whiff this game, and they are not on track to have another.
There's a teleport coming in, actually. I think Effan is being completely left out to try. That is a double teleport. Both of the solo layers are here. Alphamos is just going to collapse straight onto Chentang. Effan tries to get in onto the backline, get towards some safety, but he is going to get machine gunned down by the Rangers' focus. Mostly Grumpy continuing forwards. He has to wait for support to come up. Gadunica is also going to be just put straight into the furnace. Mostly Grumpy going forwards. There is the shockwave. There is the kill. Nibble is the last to stand under the tiny sliver of health of his bot inhibitor turret. Triple kill for QR. The tower falls, the inhibitor falls, 26-4. Cabbage family are going to look to end the game. Dragon Soul be damned.
Chentang up in 8 seconds. I don't think they'll be able to do it. They have the ultimate available, but this looks all but done.
Towers fall. There is Crowny's Comet. Bristol whipped. Looking so smooth until this week the Cabbage family come in and say, thanks. Don't mind if I do. 26-4, 12k gold advantage. That was an immense performance from the entirety of the Cabbage family.
Certainly so, and we'll have to check the standings after this for how other teams have done, because that means now, at least between these two, that is a 2-way tie for first. At 7-2 apiece, we were looking at, that is playoffs secured now. Cabbage got it locked in the bag, and with the head-to-head record against Bristol Whip, that is going to be crucial heading into next week to try and secure that first place heading into playoffs.
Certainly is. We were prepping for this week. The storyline was going to be Bristol Whipped 9-0.
Yeah.
This is League of Legends. You can't take anything for granted, folks.
Yeah, certainly
a fantastic game, though.
Oh, absolutely. Just nicely played. Cabbage identifying how they had to go about it. You saw that maybe it was because we showed on screen what happened in the previous game for Cabbage, but Bristol tried to get a little bit finicky there. They banned out the Sivir, which was going to be the best attempt for Cabbage to attempt to outscale. And with that gone, it's like, okay, well, we'll just do what we were going to do anyway, of just run at you very aggressively and put you behind. They managed to get their first dragon. They managed to keep Effin out of the game with some really nice starting. It was actually a good attempt level 1 that put Effin starting level 1 Q on the Jax, removed any pressure they could get onto this Camille, meant that the lane was pretty free real estate for them. And as far as it goes, we do manage to see that it goes in the favor of Cabbage family.
So, here's the challenge, Callum. We have to donate. We have to donate an MVP. All of Cabbage family did so well.
Yeah, they really did.
No, that would be bias. I was going to say Porp did great work. Obviously, he started the snowball, basically ensured first blood for Alphamos. But considering how huge that Camille was, I think I have to give it... It's either Alphamos, Porp, or QR, and I really can't choose which.
I think I will settle on QR because, as far as it goes, they were just so impactful in this lane, and around that dragon fight where they denied Chentang managing to get their upgraded augment onto the laser, kept them out of this lane, and in the past, Chentang has always been a reliable force for the team. Last week, literally securing their win over DMUT1 with an auto attack. They have been crucial to it. While the team plays for Effin, it is always down to Chentang to be that almost rock for the team. And today, they were denied. QR, MVP, they just stopped it happening in the first place.
Was there a shadow buff to Oriana this patch? I'm pretty sure there wasn't. Has she just been this good then? Wait, it's all Oriana? Always has been.
Yeah, basically, it's just been pretty nice from them this week, as we get to see some great games coming out, and frankly, that has really thrown off our standings heading into next week. Yeah. Greyheart and Nymera are going to have a lot of fun.
Guys.
Yeah. Back to an even standing state. We'll have to see who actually can pull ahead and secure themselves first in the playoffs. Or if we're going to get some weird stuff, I'd be interested to see how, I believe it was Careless, was another team that was 5-3 heading into this week. So there is all the potential that we might have a multi-man tie for first at the moment.
Are we going to have a new all circle of suck?
Could be. Get some LPL
possibly
gamers.
We will see how the head-to-heads pan out. Before we end for the day, once more shout out to our wonderful sponsors, Twitch Student, Unite Students, and Logitech G. Thank you so much for letting us do this. I would not trade it for the world.
Certainly not, and maybe not for a first Rift Herald, I would say, if you're going for the Bristol Whipped squad.
Oh dear. Too soon. Alrighty, I believe that is it for us for today. Be sure to tune in, same time, same place next week. The last 2 rounds of the playoff struggle brought to you by the luminary Greyheart and Nymera. You do not want to miss it.